Alright everybody, this was just a short little quick video that I wanted to go over. As you know, your review sheet is due Monday. Okay, so that's the 12th, 10/12. Okay, and I just wanted to quickly go through here, and I just want to make sure you guys know which ones which ones you need work on, and what work I expect. This is going to be real short. I think I'm going to start doing this every week, so that you completely know what my expectations are. You should know anyway, but this will at least give you a guide to help you know. Now the first one, not really any work required there, because obviously you're just drawing a vertical number line with those aren't the right numbers. Your review sheet's a little different than that, but regardless, it's got those numbers. You got to put them on a number line. No work there. Okay. For mean, I do want everybody to know, I want you to round to the hundredths. Okay, round to the hundredths. So when you get your mean, you're going to get some answer. You're going to need to round correctly to the hundredths. If you don't, it will be incorrect. This box will be incorrect. Median, I need work here. Okay? Now you should know what that work is. If you don't know, look back at past review sheets, look it up on the internet, do something. It is there. We've covered what the work should be there. Mode, no work required. Range, no work required. Okay? All right. This is a certain type of problem that we learned in Chapter 1. If you're having trouble with this in any way, you can go back to your Chapter 1 notes. You can go back to any Chapter 1 video, Chapter 1 practice sheets, Chapter 1 tests, anything like that. This is those types of questions. And there is absolutely work required here. If you don't have it, it will be incorrect. Next one, this is from Chapter 2. And there is no work required here. Just be real careful about that word right there. You may need to look back to Chapter 2 to remember what I always told you about distance, and most of you probably know. Okay? Number 5 here, this obviously needs work. You guys know that I need to see this written up at the top on every one of these problems. That's first. And then I need to see one step, rewrite the problem. Like here, this would be 6. And then have 16 minus 6 divided by 3 plus 3 squared times 6. And then from there, do whatever you think is next. I'm not going to give you the answer, but if you don't have every step, you guys know it is going to be wrong. I'm going to mark it wrong. Okay, you know how picky I am on that. This one's the same way. Now keep in mind, after you've written PEMDAS for this question, because you got to write it for every one of these, you need to remember, turn that algebraic expression into a numeric. So your first step should have no math-related operations going on. This should say 3 to the 4th. You're just plugging in 3 for A, divided by 9, and so on. Okay, you need to plug in everything for the variables and then do the problem. But again, one step rewrite on everything. Must have it. Here, multiplying fractions, we've just covered it. I'll put special attention on that word, even though we should know that we always simplify. Okay, no work required there, just you're simplifying. Okay, here is another question, just like number whatever the one up here about the Mr. Edwards Open Gym. That's the same type of question there, and that was Chapter 1. This is a certain type of question. There's absolutely work required on that one as well. Okay, this one, no work required there. This one here, there is no, well, this one, you'll have to remember how to do this. This is this chapter, Chapter 3. We just covered this early in the week. These I did tell you I wanted you to show work. Remember, I wanted you to always show the long division of it. 3 goes into 8 2 whole times, and then we multiply around. And then remember that remainder, that R2 that you got when you were in elementary school, becomes the numerator of your fraction, and the denominator never changes. So I just gave you one answer, but I need to see this work. So on all these, I must see work, work, work. Okay? Here, sometimes usually when you're adding fractions, there's always going to be work required. But since these first two here have common denominators already, there's no work required. Now, remember, everything always is simplified. It doesn't matter whether it says simplify or not. You guys know you will always simplify fractions in my class. Okay? Now, these two down here absolutely require work. Okay? Work on those two, because as you can see, they do not have common denominators. So I would need to see that work. All right, next page. Okay. Doing long division, obviously I need to show work there. You can check with a calculator, but your work has to match. Okay, here, obviously need to have work. Once again, you can check with a calculator, but your work has to match what your answer says it is. Here, I need work as well. Okay, you should know how to, there should be some multiplication and some subtraction happening in there. Your keyword there is profit. If you're struggling with that word, ask your parents. They can help you with this question. Okay, they can help you, but profit's a little bit different. A lot of you are getting a certain answer that doesn't necessarily mean profit. So I'll just tell you, profit means what you get, like how much you have in your pocket after he sells these water bottles, how much he's going to have. But remember, this was his initial investment. This is what he had to pay up front. So if he sells all of his bottles of water, every dime of that is not going to be his to go spend. He's going to have to take away this money because he had to spend this money at first. So profit's just how much you get out of it. Okay? All right, here, okay, no work required here. But when you get down to here, there's absolutely work required. Okay? So what I mean by that is when you select the correct one up here, those are all algebraic expressions because they all have numbers, operations, and variables, every single one of them. Okay? So you know, just like on page 1 here, let me go over, we know that on page 1, the first step, remember, was to turn that algebraic into a numeric and write PEMDAS. You must have that on this question right here. So whenever you decide whichever one it is, you're going to plug 6 in. When you plug it in, you're going to rewrite it as a numeric expression, you're going to write PEMDAS, and then you're going to solve one step at a time using PEMDAS. Down here, normally I would make you show work, but because we have the answer bank, I'm cool with you just finding the correct one. Okay, so no work required there. And finally, here, this one right here is the same way as that kayak question. This one right here. This question right here. Only difference is they give you the expression. So right there's the expression. Okay, it's going to give you what n is right there. You need to come over to the side. You need to write PEMDAS. You need to turn that algebraic expression into a numeric expression and then solve one step at a time, just like any other problem involving PEMDAS. Okay? And finally, the last one here, no work required right there. Okay? If you're confused, if you don't know what the difference between the word constant and the word varying is, so there's varying, there's constant. If you're confused, look them up online. It'll make it pretty clear on what the correct answer is to this problem. Okay? So that's it, guys. Have a great weekend. See ya.